you so much for having me.
Can you first give us a little bit talk about yourself and your initiative, Republic?
Yes, so again, I'm Kendrick. I run a platform called Republic at republic.co, and we're an investment platform that curates startups and blockchain projects that anyone around the world can invest small amounts in these compliant, legal, credible projects.
Thank you. Now, just to start from that, because you are connecting projects with investors, so the core question is valuation, how to distinguish good projects from the fake projects. So for a new investor coming into space who have no tech background, where should they start?
Sure. Valuation is an interesting and complex question because valuation usually develops methodologies over time. The ICO space is still so new. So there's no consistent valuation methodology. Rather than focusing on the pricing of each token, I would recommend new investors to look at who else, any credible names, Union Square Ventures, Sequoia, who else are investing in a particular project, because they would have already done the complex work so that you wouldn't have to do it incorrectly.
Thank you for that. So connecting that, as you are suggesting newcomers to go to some trusted source. So that's actually a very critical question. There's so much news media source out there for anyone coming here as a new person. Who can they really trust?
Yep, and it also goes back to the point of due diligence. You hear a lot of the term due diligence, meaning do your homework. But in this space, there's so much information. Knowing which to go to is very relevant. So CoinDesk is a news source that publishes, and I'm sure you guys will have your own list of platforms that are credible. Coinlist.co is one such platform. Republic, of course, we think that we're a platform that we do a lot of vetting. So one thing that you rarely should ever invest, which is a project that launches on its own website without any third-party backing. The moment that you have someone else being the middleman, it makes it easier. Then you can just look at them who are behind them. Kind of like selecting a university. We're at Harvard, and it's very easy to distinguish between Harvard University and, say, a for-profit university in Florida.
Okay. Speaking of the middleman, we see in this market over at least the past half a year or not, there has been a lot of new middlemen coming up. And that, of course, there will be a lot of competition. So where do you think this mini industry of middlemen going?
Well, the whole blockchain industry is supposed to disrupt and remove the middleman. So, but now that there's a lot of money and there's investors and interest from global community into this ecosystem, you have people who are promoters, people who are deal sourcers. Now it's almost like the early days of iBanking. It's very chaotic. I do expect that over time, you will have entities that emerge, the new Goldman Sachs, the new JP Morgan, the new Skadden Arps for law firms, that the industry will take a while to settle. But right now, the homework that any investor should do is how credible is the middleman who introducing the deal. If you see an ad about a particular project, question where is the ad being placed? Are they just displaying the ads for everyone? Those are relevant questions to to make your way through the weeds.
Thank you. And in your speak just now at the conference, you mentioned China, they banned ICO, but still, in reality, we see a lot of activity still happening. And all these Chinese investors are now looking for a place to invest in this ICO or blockchain project. So what are your recommendations for them specifically to look overseas?
Well, the one question that I would not be able to address specifically on the legality of it, but to the extent that there is a way for an investor in a country that doesn't allow, crypto trading, if they somehow are able to nonetheless find a way to invest abroad, I do think that in many ecosystems, including obviously we're sitting here in Boston, Massachusetts, New York and Silicon Valley, we see projects that potentially will be the next Uber or even bigger. So 1/100th of a Bitcoin or $20 in cryptocurrency that you can invest in a project in the US or in Switzerland, it's both fun and may potentially be very meaningful. I highly discourage investing a lot of money into any one project. Doesn't matter who's behind it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify a small amount.
Diversify the keyword.
Absolutely.
Since your platform probably hosts a global projects, do you think there are any countries currently are being overlooked?
For sure. Overlooked in this, particularly in the space of crypto, right? The way that we have a saying that good ideas are equally distributed everywhere, but access to capital is highly localized. So in venture ecosystem, you have Silicon Valley in California get 50%. There's no doubt that there are amazing ideas in the northwest region of China, in Vietnam, in Kenya, in Alabama, but they haven't yet had the chance to flourish. I think crypto technology has made it easier for projects outside of Silicon Valley to get funded, but it's still highly localized today. I think Latin America is where you will see, the next wave of new credible projects, and of course Asia. Korea has been open and friendly to it, but China is a bed of talent, and it's a vast economy with incredible talent and people behind it. So over time, as the technology become more widely adopted, I have no doubt that's this new century is probably Asia focused.
Wow, cool. Yeah. Now finally going back to yourself, because you have a legal background.
I do.
So can you tell us a bit about how you actually get into this black hole, this rabbit hole, and what do you think are advantages of a legal background that you have in this field?
I have a rather more complicated background than most startup founders. I started out as a securities litigator and went back to do academia research and teaching at Stanford for 2 years before going to AngelList as general counsel. So once upon a time, I actually did not flaunt my legal background. It was uncool to be a lawyer in tech a few years ago. And now, because in ICO and fintech, the legal uncertainty is such a big concern, and you need to be able to navigate it to innovate appropriately. Every single step of the way is fraught with legal regulatory risks. And that's why being a lawyer all of a sudden now is super relevant in technology again. But one advice for anyone, any lawyer wanting to go into tech is whatever you do aside from your business, from your legal practice, to get involved in project, give out free advice, and gain that business pragmatism. Because lawyers tend to be very conservative, and technologists tend to require pragmatism and risk-taking. So in the middle is somewhere a startup lawyer should be.
Thank you very much. You gave us a lot of really helpful advice that will be useful for our audience.
Thank you so much. I mean, I love your platform. This is going to be a super helpful information source for global crypto community. So looking forward to seeing you guys, in the future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.